Morning to all of you. Welcome back to the Namaste experience on this Thursday. And if you know anything about Namaste Village, you know that Thursday is Neil Rogan Day. So we're going to be hearing from our dear brother Neil in just a minute. But before we do, we have a new way of starting our meetings. If you've been here for the last couple of weeks, you know that. So let me go ahead and I'll bring our morning prayer or affirmation up here on the screen. I'm going to ask you to join me as we say, my soul has but one goal, to awaken to the truth that is forever true. My heart has but one desire, to remember the passion of infinite bliss. My mind has but one focus, to embrace the reality that is forever real. I choose to awaken now to the infinite love that is my source. I give everything to this love just as it has given everything to me. I am awake now. How is everyone today?
Awake and ready.
How feels everyone today?
Awake and ready.
Awake and ready. Yes, indeed. I can feel it. I can feel the awakeness. I can feel the energy, the light, the vibrancy. I love that word, vibrancy. That means we are vibrant with grace. We are vibrant with love. We are awake. When you're awake, you are vibrating with the energy of love. And that's what we're doing here today. We vibrate together. And as we vibrate more and more and more, it lifts and it builds and it increases until it covers everything everywhere. Everything everywhere. And as we know, today is such a beautiful day because our dear friend Neil Rogan is going to be with us to share some more of his incredible wisdom. So without further ado, Neil, my brother, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, James. What is ado, by the way? Anybody know? We don't want any more. No more ado. So,
Simple to a do.
ado. Thank you. Well, I'm here again primarily because I'm really excited to hear what I'm going to say. I really have led it up to God this time, and I've been trying to not remember things, because when I try and remember, I kind of like am not present. So I'm really delighted to be here with just this vibration going on, with this giant vibrator we're all sitting in. I'm going to read from the good book, and so many of you have the book already, so if you want to read along with me, that would be fine. I was thinking about my edge, what my edge is in my spiritual kind of like path right now. And what I'm leaning into is the difference between my preferences and the way it is. And I notice that I suffer when I prefer my preferences. I thought of a line for a song, if anybody wants to put it to music. I wish it was the way I wish it was, but it ain't. It's the way it is. And, you know, kind of adjusting yourself to that, to making what's happening what you prefer to be happening. Because if you notice that anytime something happens, well, I notice I reject it or want to make it better or change it. Like I am the art critic for creation. You know, I'm judging God's creation and saying, well, this could be a little bit better, and I wish it was less warm, and I wish it wouldn't rain, and I wish my wife was cook something different. But and when I do that, I miss all the blessings of the way it is, because the way it is just fine. And I know there's injustice and there's evil and there's darkness and there's this battle between dark and light in this duality world. But that's not the only world. And it's actually not even the real world. It's the world we seem to live in. It's the world that we seem to run into when we go beyond the gate or go back to our old country. And we're dealing with a world full of beings who think they are their identity, their ego, their role they're playing. I love metaphors. I like to say I never met a four I didn't like.
The engram?
No, not the Engram 4. I've met some 4s that I didn't like. Anyway, the idea of that we are in this play, you know, that we wake up into hopefully, an exciting romantic comedy. I'm hoping that it has a never-ending happy ending, but it is we're living in a story where we're all playing a part. The name of my role is, you call it Neil, I call it me. But it is a role I'm playing. And I notice when I think about a theatrical kind of metaphor context, that the idea that a fine actor can create a character that is completely real, you know, like Sean Penn, you can feel the pain from his childhood, or the character's childhood that he brings to the role. He creates a whole personality. And then he goes home and he's not that. And he comes back next morning, he is that. So the ability to drop and pick up a role and really lose yourself in it, we are really good at that. We've done that. We did it once and we haven't stopped. Because we're still relating to each other like I am me and you are you, and we're not each other. I mean, when we concentrate and become spiritual and we go, yeah, no, we're all one. But every day I get up in the morning, I don't go, oh, we're all one. No, I'm one. And you're another one. So we're dealing with a world that does not recognize the existence of that which is containing us and sustaining us at every second of our lives. That the flow of reality is on our side. It wants us to win. And we, kind of get in the way of that a lot because we want to mess around with our selves. We want to fix things. We want to get better. We want to have hope for a better future. We want to, think that we're on our way somewhere. But in reality, we're on our way somewhere, but we're on a big boat and we're on our way on the boat. We're running around the boat, but the boat is moving. And we don't have any control over that. And we can run against where the boat's going, but that doesn't matter. The boat is still going to take us where it's taking us. And the idea of surrendering that to the flow of reality, it's very, it's kind of un-American. And probably un-Canadian, but nice. And we identify, when we learn something new, this is my definition of transformation. It's when you alter your worldview based on some new information that you didn't know before. A kind of like, oh, that changes everything. It could be a small one, like the end of a movie, where it goes, he was dead all along. I have to rethink this whole thing. So the idea that we have to let go of the assumptions that we made about who we are and where we fit in, that is interimly true, but not ultimately true. I'm playing the part of me right now. I think I'm doing a good job. And I'm kind of getting better at it because I'm taking it less seriously. It's not real. I'm not, this me is not real. It's something I put together when I was 3 years old, between 3 and 5, or 1 and 5, or 0 and 5. I made up a lot of stuff. And I made up stuff about myself because when you think about it, if you're 1 year old, you are completely helpless, completely at the effect of them. Hopefully them are nice to you, them being your parents, but they're also God to you. And they can do no wrong. It's just too much for a child to think that their caretakers are wrong. They've got to be made right. Therefore, who's wrong? Me. So we each have a kind of a central core of feeling off, that there's something not good here, that is kind of like the parrot that I chased the rest of my life, trying to get other people to talk me out of that feeling that I'm no good. And so all of my interactions have been, without being aware of them, have been a kind of a proof that I'm okay, because I feel like I'm not. So the outer world shows up as a place for me to get validated. The world is a sea of people who will talk me out of my feeling of inadequacy. Yeah. But it doesn't work. Because the sense of being an imposter, you feel like, oh, I don't deserve this. And if they really knew me, they wouldn't be so nice about, I'm fooling you. This whole feeling of that, it's a little bit off. That so much of the world lives in and doesn't know that there is something holding all of us. That the truth of us is so much bigger than the interim identity we've created, the roles we're playing this time. Because we've played roles before, a lot of them. A lot of different kinds of scenes in different theatrical, improvisational events. So, we have this backstory. It's kind of like being cast in a movie, and you read your character's backstory, and it has a life story and where he's been and that kind of informs how the actor then inhabits that role. And if they're any good, they completely occupy that role and are convincing. Congratulations, by the way. You are really wonderful actors. You had me fooled. But there's this sense of futility, basically. And I encourage people to get to this place where where they feel hopeless about ever becoming a better person, because it's a wild goose chase. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to do. Everybody should become a better person. But that thing that drives your desire to be a better person doesn't ever get scratched. So what can we do about that? Except realize that we're not only in a theater playing a part in a vast theatrical play, we're also being held by the one who owns the theater. There's this sense of fundamental goodness. In the world of duality, there's this and that. There's, if there's something good, there's also something balancing that's not so good. Duality is duality. And withdrawing your allegiance from your life story. I mean, it's good to have a life story, and I'm proud of my life story, and I've done wonderful things. It's been a very interesting life. The content of my life has been fantastic. It's a gift. And when I really get centered, and for me, centered being doing nothing, even The idea of doing nothing is not, that's not it. So this feeling of absolute non-vibrational presence, where you're not this or that, or choosing this or that, or anywhere that is someplace, because you're every place. And I have this idea of going to a theater, going to a play in a theater, and it's like a drama, drawing room drama, relationships, and I'm really into the play. And then, but one of the characters in the play starts noticing, wait a minute, I think I'm in a play. And he can't tell the other characters because they think it's crazy. But slowly you begin to examine, wait a minute, is this really real? I bought into this hook, line, and sinker. Maybe there's something, a larger context for all this. Maybe I'm more than this identity, more than this person I've been all my life. Maybe I'm something greater, or something that holds this world. And we all are very attached to our story. I'm going to read this one short thing. It says, your life story, your total allegiance to the content of your consciousness, your commitment to the continuity of your identity as an individual me, your preoccupation with its travails and its triumphs, all of this is a trance, a spell, an enchantment. Your sense of me, is an apparition, an image on a scrim. It's a stage trick, a ghost. The only thing that makes it seem so real is your continual fixation, truly your unending need to fix it, to mess with your made-up self, to fine-tune your imaginary friend, to get it right. Your memoir, your 3-act play, your biopic, is being written by you as you go along. Most of the plot is based on what happened in the previous chapters, avoiding the mistakes of, improving on, regretting what we call the past. So for those of you who are smack in the middle of that epic entitled Life as Me, here's a spoiler alert. The hero dies at the end. Sorry. Your personness, your, what I call your personality, your sense of that me that you think yourself to be, is a reality show in which you are the central character and also the biggest fan. It's #1 on Netflix for you. That show will come to an end. The last page of the script will be written and read. The curtain will come down and the credits will roll. But you, that has been here all along thinking of itself as me, that you will remain. That you cannot die. That you is eternal. It has no beginning and no end, and it's never wrought or changed. It is absolute. So that you is eternal. Let me say it this way. I'll put it as plainly as possible. You are eternal. Your sense of me is temporary. I had this realization once where I said, oh, my birth certificate is actually a temporary visa. I can't quite move in here. I have to go home. Or they say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So the sense of being much more than you appear to be, much more than you appear to be to yourself, is a kind of a revelation that we all kind of like share because we're here in this amazing place within this amazing place within this amazing place. I'm always amazed, or more amazed lately, how I was able to live in a world full of beauty and not notice the miracle. I'm like an ant on an anthill who doesn't notice the garden. I'm just working. But as I began to become aware and open my heart and let myself be taken by something bigger than me, that's the hard part, is to allow that there's something you are within. And that this feeling of yearning, that something holds the answer to that yearning. And allowing yourself to be humble enough to realize you are a creature of something. You have been created. You know, you didn't happen, you were born, but you've been made by God. And, you know, he's given you the keys to yourself, and you've done with it what you've done. And the blessing of us is that we have come across people and teachings and truths that have been taught since the beginning of time. I think that was also a Thursday. And no, okay. That we're so profoundly blessed, so profoundly gifted, so profoundly cared for and loved. We're understood, and we're really wanted. I know I wanted to have that feeling when I was little, and I didn't get it. My parents were busy. It was World War II. It was, you know, what's going to happen? The bad side was winning when I was born. I was born 6 months after Pearl Harbor. And, you know, it was not a war movie. It was a war. And I could understand now why my mother was so terribly frightened. But she gave that to me. Her fear was one of her gifts to me. And I've dutifully carried on that tradition of being afraid. It's kind of a family thing. And as as every day becomes a little bit more brighter, a little bit more welcoming, where I feel more and more at home in the middle of this creation, I realized that my mother taught me that the world is scary. I mean, she thought she was doing the right thing because the world was scary. But my mother was agoraphobic, so she didn't leave the house. And in order to bond with her, I took on her agoraphobia. The world is a scary place. I'm not going out there. And if I do go out there, I'm going to be on guard. So my whole kind of like reason for being was to defend myself against the world that was not friendly. It was dangerous. The universe is a dangerous place. And it is so the opposite of what that is. The world is made for you, made for you to enjoy, to discover, to fall in love, to be in awe. I think that, by the way, the experience of awe is one of the most important things we can have now, because it is a non-religious religious experience. And once you really get the dynamics of at least a piece of what creation is doing, and you're not awestruck, you don't get what creation is doing. And it's doing it for you. So there's this rush of energy and momentum lifting you like wind song beneath your wings. So it's good to be in fellowship with other me's, and we can love each other and get to this place where, you know, fundamentally, if I spend enough time with you, I would want to live with you. We all have friends, and our friends are special. My friends are special people. They're my friends, they're special. And everybody else is everybody else. And I imagine they're pretty great too, but my friends are the special ones. I just love them. I can think of any one of them and I go, oh, they're amazing. But they're only amazing because I've taken the time to get to know them. If I got to know the other ones, they would be the special ones. Everybody is amazing. But we have this feeling of there's something wrong with me. There's something I need to fix. And the very desire and action taken to fix yourself imprisons you, because it reifies that there's something wrong with you. You take it seriously that there's something wrong with you, because I'm going to fix it. Rather than, instead of saying, I'm going to fix my problem, the question should be asked, is this problem real? And who has this problem, really? So I like the biggest context possible to recognize that we are we're so blessed and so gifted and so given that to not be blown away all the time, you have to be a little asleep. And I know it, because you can't always be blissed out and blown away, because people will put you away. But the appropriate response to being in creation is, wow, I'm awestruck. I am with what contains me. I got to spend some time working on a PBS show called The Journey of the Universe. It was done by a dear friend of mine, Brian Swim, who is a mathematical cosmologist, a scientist, who in his study of the cosmos has become also a mystic, because you cannot really delve into the nature of reality without becoming awestruck. So he's a mystical scientist, and the realization of what it took for this to happen, for us to be able to be outside in an environment where we don't need shells or protection, or we can be actually, if we wanted to be, I'm not suggesting it, naked, but that as I get older and I notice that spiritual truths become even truer, like you are not your body, thank God. As I get out of the shower, I go, oh, thank God for clothes. That cannot be me. And I blame it all on gravity. And thank you. The whole idea that it's really amazing to watch. I don't feel any older than I did when I was 9. I'm still this 9-year-old. I still have this sense of, oh, and then I happen across a mirror. I go, oh, wow, I'm not 9. And, you know, when people say act your age, they're really saying act the way you look. And I'm a great believer in not acting your age or not acting your, don't grow up. So there was another metaphor that, oh yeah, right. In seeking, you know, we're all kind of like looking for the answer, the one, the something. We're like a flashlight who's wondering where that light is coming from. You know, because the flashlight shines on something and, you know, and it looks and goes, where's that? Oh, it's bright over there. It's her. That's the, you know, but it's actually your own light that you're shining on someone. So one of the lessons I learned early on was that don't give credit to the mirror for what you see reflected in it. You fall in love with someone, you're falling in love with yourself. In that wonderful time, the period where all your A material works, you know, and you are so charming and wonderful and they love you. And it's like, oh my God, it's like getting out of prison. I'm liberated. Oh, they made me this way. And, you know, eventually we find out, well, you're not the person I thought you were. But who we are is so much more than the person we're projecting. The miracle of life, of being alive, of being contained in this reality. 13.7 billion years ago, I said a couple of weeks ago that it took that long for hydrogen gas to become this, all this. So we're in the midst of this vast creative process. And it's always improving, it's always getting better, it's always refining itself, it's always becoming more love. Its expression is becoming more and more godlike. It's not hard to see if you look. When I look at my parents and their friends at my age, they were different. They were acting their age. And I feel that we haven't made that, we haven't given that up, where I'm you know, if you live long enough, you will die. It's just true. Sorry. But it's a wonderful, I'm trying to see what time it is. Oh, we're done. Okay. All right.
Not long enough, it will land.
Yes. And if I talk long enough, you'll die. So, thank you very much.
We're loving what you're sharing, Neil. Thank you so much. You know, the thing that struck me is awestruck. To be awestruck. How important that is, to be struck by such profound awe. AWE, a wonderful experience. That's what awe is. And we are in the midst of a wonderful experience every moment. When we come together, as we do here at Namaste Village, we are awestruck by the holiness within each other. We are awestruck by the wisdom that comes from everyone. We're awestruck by this instant, this holy instant of grace. And that's why we love when you share, because you give us a different voice, a different angle into that awe. And so we're so grateful and happy you could join us again. Keep coming back every Thursday, brother. We love it.
I love Thursdays. Thank you.
Thursday with Neil. So thank you, Neil. Thank you, everyone. We are blessed. Let's go out now and be just struck with awe. Wherever we look, wherever we are, whoever's right in front of us, to know that this is my opportunity to see as God sees, to be struck by the awe of divinity itself. It is a wonderful experience. So why not enjoy it for all it's worth? So everyone, thank you so much. We will say together as we close, Amen, Amen,
And amen.
Punto.
Punto. Thank you.
Everyone. So good to see you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Doves. Good to see everyone.
Thank
Vicky,
you.
we love you
Hi,
too.
Carolyn from Chicago.
We'll be back
Carolyn.
Carolyn, I'm glad you're here.
Bye
I
now.
love you.
Have a great